Welcome, Tiatala, ACM LCIA, Itis Huelmoch, and welcome to Meet Me at the Mic. I'm Carrielynn at Alsa Humantalat, and we're here to share stories around our virtual kitchen table, weaving together our histories, our perspectives, and our journeys as women, as Stalo women. We welcome you to join us. Grab a cup of tea, pull up a chair, and let's get talking. Our extra special guest today is a sister of mine, a dear friend, Charlene Aleck, also a member of Chiam, and I'd love to get right into things, but first we'd appreciate a little intro from you.
For having me. Yeah. What an honor it is to come out and come home to share such a special afternoon, just speaking about who we are and what we do. Tsimtalat is a name that my grandmother, Cecilia Thomas, carried. I'm the daughter of late Joe and Irene Aleck. That's Siamalaloch and Tiaktana. I'm the youngest of 6, and I have 4 daughters, 3 grandkids. Well, 2 and 1 on the way. I say that because those are my greatest titles that I feel like I could put forth to the world, sharing all that I've collected. My grandmother's passed when I was quite little. Up into the age of 6, 7 years old, I only had one grandparent. And I was fortunate enough to have him live in our home. So everything we kind of did, and this was back in the time where it was not cool to be Native. Everything that we did was with the cultural flavor, even though we were forbidden to practice our ceremonies and don our regalia. I collected a lot of memories and a lot of stories from him. And so I've taken that into every step of kind of work that I've done. I've done a lot of organic type of work, meaning I've never had like a real office administrative 9-to-5 job. I've worked in the performance industry with a dance group and with theater, radio, behind the scenes, film and TV, and in front of the camera. So a lot of my work history is that background. And until my kids got a little bigger, I had a catering company for 21 years.
Right.
So serving the people was a big joy for me. And I found it was one of the best jobs where I could not only feed nourishment, but also give some of that love and that joy back to people, and they would consume it. And so that was a real joy for me. And then I stumbled upon politics in an organic way. I humbly accepted that leadership, but also taking with me all of that fierce love and entertainment quality, but also our culture and our traditions. I would not have accepted that nomination if I couldn't be that person. So I'm in my 4th term as an elected council with Tsleil-Waututh, and that's on my mom's nation. Yeah.
Wow. This is it's a real treat to sit with you. And I have so many nosy questions for you.
Fire away.
I would love to acknowledge our place and ground us in a prayer. Titala, Celia Hue, Chichosium, Titala, Well Swale, Eat Salt Tamoch, Eat Palau Tamoch. Luch I was als me tomst calls it sit equistas, just asking our ancestors, our good creator, to be with us here today as we sit in South Tamuk, as we sit in a Palaut Tamuk as well. Our request is for guidance, grounding, and to remain within our laws of life, our good laws of life that we've inherited, and to have a good journey through our conversation, but also to come back in a good way. All my relations.
It's good for your words.
I have a real warmth sitting with you. You do such good work, and I'd imagine it's difficult at times to talk about yourself. Such is the way of our humble people. So I will say that I'm proud to know you, first of all, and also to claim you as Chiam every chance I get. We work so hard in these modern times to maintain our roots, to stay grounded in our teachings, and there's a lot of pressure to take a route that maybe leaves those things behind, to leave those perspectives behind. How do they serve us? How do our ancestors' ways move us? And then one of the English words that comes to mind is sovereignty. And we can apply it in so many ways in our life. Sovereignty. It's not just for politics. It's important, certainly, in politics, but I'm curious where your mind goes when that word is brought up. Sovereignty.
Like your comments, sovereignty means a lot of things to me. I could be an individual sovereign person on the river or up the mountain and be practicing picking up those tools and medicines that our ancestors had laid down for us. And, hopefully one day a grandchild would pick it up and carry on the ways and learn their existence and bringing it forth to today. 'Cause there's that thread of exercising their right without even saying, I'm going to go and exercise my right within my jurisdictions. All those fluffy words, but they just did it. They didn't have big statements or anything like that in a big way. They just did what they needed to do, but beautifully, with even their tools, and carving out your own tools and putting your trademark, say, on the things that you do. They had such a beautiful way to do that. Yeah. I feel like, and too, as a community or as a family, carrying out songs or traditions and having that connection or that piece that connects us to the territory, claiming the mountains in our song or claiming the waterways in our songs. And that, upholding a piece of our law that goes with that, and how you are to act when you do those traditional activities in that territory, has a lot of pieces to it that really upholds a law. Yeah.
Beautiful. I heard you at one point mention who you grew up with, your grandfather, your parents, and there's these really strong echoes of them in the way that you speak, in the way that you move. Is there anything you want to share with us about those dear people?
Oh, my goodness. Yeah. We lived in Mission when I was quite little, and then we moved back home to Chiam when I was about 10 or 11. But up until I was 10, my grandfather, Chief Dan George, lived in our home. And there was many times where reporters or people wanting to interview him for the newspaper or, cool. A limo would show up and say, we're going to whisk him off to the airport. I thought he was a real cool grandpa that way. But I never knew how much of an impact he was on the public. Mm-hmm. I knew he was really interesting and people wanted to meet with him. But at home, he was grandpa. He'd give us $2 to go to the store. And back then, $2 may have well been $200. He was sweet, and he'd play the guitar, and he'd talk about our grandma like as if she was just there. And just having those really good memories of family. Family being, there was 6 kids, mom and dad, then grandpa. And just having really good memories of him, telling some stories, and you weren't aware that he was feeding you all of this information until after the fact. And it was like, he just told us a whole bunch of stuff. So when I look back and, crave that solstice you get when you sit with your old ones and hear the ways of how they used to be, and just, at that pace of life, it kind of feels like it's slow, but they did so much. It felt like, even the slower they went, the further they would get in just, or it just kind of felt like movement of life was kind of slow. But you look at all the stuff that they did. I mean, it's kind of escapes people's mind because it's such a push-button modern future. Right. That the things that they did. Yeah.
They took time.
They sure did. Mm-hmm. And I remember my dad, Joe, we called him Chilliwack. That was his nickname he was given by his great-grandmother, Lucy O'Lally. Yeah.
Also Chiam.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. He would bring us with his sisters, Marianne, Beatrice, and Uncle Art Alex. He would bring us up into Mount Chiam and the surrounding area to go pick berries.
Awesome.
And I remember Auntie B, there was this one spot she wanted to go to, and it was way up there. And oh my gosh, she would tell, and then back when Mom did this and Mom did that. Yeah, and then just being little and wanting to get to the berry patch.
Right.
Yeah. Just realize, she's sharing a lot of history as well. Yeah.
Putting that in the basket too.
Yeah.
There's a particular berry up there. The little low bush blueberry. And it is just magical. Like the way it tastes is just magical. And that's the one that kind of stands out. I mean, there's 8 kinds of huckleberries growing, blueberries and huckleberries back there, but whoever saved us that one, really grateful for that one. And
I kind of feel like that's the one Auntie B was
nice.
Yeah, was trying to seek out.
It's special.
Yeah.
Something about it is just wow. Yeah. Those are some really precious memories.
Yeah.
And I love that you're taking them with you, but also, making sure that your grandchildren, your children have access and a clean future. So much of the work you do is about environmental protection, preservation, and not from, as powerful and important as NGOs are, I also feel as though this is the kind of thing that is so deep inside of you that you don't get to set it down at the end of the day or on a vacation. And I usually go to the races at Wiawichan and the inlet there, and once in a while the orcas show up. And I'm so curious about the nature of the relationship between the people there in the inlet, the people of the inlet, and those whales.
There is something to be said about that, because it goes back even to, beyond my memory of story about relationship and the reciprocal communication and abilities that I'm aware of, or that I've heard story of. And I think the more recent was a great grandfather, I think, was either great or great, had the ability to have an actual relationship with the blackfish, where he'd literally go up to the water's edge and tap, and then they would soon come and they would have an agreement about food, being respectful of what to take and what not to take, when to take it, and the protection of them and the water and our food sources. And that's a story that I can tell my grandkids, because it was in a time when we were placed on the earth, when it was still the natural world. There was, before contact, and we had those abilities, and we weren't looked at like, oh, that's mythical, or
it just was the way it was.
It was just as real as you and I conversation right now, and there was nothing fancy to it. Still to this day, I carry that in my heart to a sign where I have ceremony for the saltwater, and I have ceremony for the blackfish. And they actually showed up the day that we had the ceremony. Beautiful. And people were saying, "Oh, what a coincidence, Char. You were on the canoe and you said a prayer for the water and the blackfish, and you mentioned them, but they were late to the party." And I'm like, no, they weren't. They were just on time. It was their own time. And that's our time, together that we used to have. And because we had opened the door for this water ceremony for all walks of life, we were consistently doing it every year with just our community. But in the last 2 years, we've opened the door to other faiths, other cultures, and other races.
Wow.
So
was that recently?
Yeah, last year was our first one to get in the canoe with us. Wow. And then just at the end of May, we had another water ceremony. Yeah,
I thought I saw a sighting, a whale sighting. Was that
That was the day.
The one?
The day that we had our ceremony.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Right where we dropped the medicine in the water. They were circling around. It wasn't further up.
And that's an affirmation in the heart, I feel. Like there's so much of our modern world asks us to look for scientific evidence, but what about spiritual evidence?
Yeah.
What about faith and the power of it?
Unfortunately, it doesn't make the public money. It doesn't feed that.
There's no profit.
Capitalism. Yeah, there's no resource that they can extract from there. So it's too much fluff, and
resource extraction is certainly the topic of the last couple of weeks. with the bills that rolled out in Parliament.
Jeez, yeah.
I don't mean to stress you out.
No.
But I'm so curious about how that's affected business at Sacred Trust. Is that the organization?
Yes.
Sacred Trust Initiative?
It's an arm. Sacred Trust Initiative is an arm of our Treaty Lands and Resource Department at Tsleil-Waututh. And this is something that Tsleil-Waututh called out years ago. So we're looking at the Trans Mountain Pipeline expansion, rolled into town about 12 years ago, and said we're going to expand. So please, if you can excuse us and step aside. And then we called them out and said, no, you need to consult us first. And it isn't you, the pipeline truck drivers. It's crown to crown. And so, yeah, we did take them to court and we won our case.
Oh, wow.
But they didn't really look at the scope of our items that we had in court, and they tried to push past. Well, they have pushed past it since then.
Pushed past with spiky fences and
barbed wire fences.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so these, we had called out that these ways of bypassing our Indigenous rights on the water and on the land, food sovereignty, and how we've used to get over 90% of our diet from the inlet, and now we can only collect 0.01% to harvest out of the inlet. And that's if there's no red tide or any of those plumes coming out of pollution. We had said, you can't bypass any of our, consultation rights or our Indigenous rights or food sovereignty and these bills help them do just that. And we know that the pipeline is in operation. We said it was a proposed threat to us as an Indigenous way of life and our inlet. But now it's an active threat, and we still keep on with our letter writing. We keep on with the pressures and call out the Canadian energy regulators, which unfortunately is the Canadian federal government. They're the owners, operators, and the regulators. The CER is an arm of the federal government, and we consistently tell them what they're doing wrong and how they're trying to fast track their issues through by not doing the proper assessments or looking at the scopes of the project and letting the general public know. And so now they're starting to read our reports and see that we're, the truth that we've been talking about for the last 11 years is starting to come through to them. Now, if that gets to work and helps our issues, I don't know.
11 years is a long time.
It is.
You're seeing what works and what doesn't and continuing on. One of the things that we have at the Leilochaut is a body of women supporting our future, our children, our people. If there was anything our women could do to support through some form of direct action or using their own voice, is that something you could see
it was
beneficial?
Yeah, for sure. It was when Christy Clark was in office, and she had called us the people of, what did she call us? The people of the no, or the opposition, that we oppose Canadian economic growth. And we're just the people of opposition, and that, doesn't matter what will come up, we'll oppose everything. And I was thinking, she's so wrong, because, the reason why we're opposing this is because of all the good things that we're doing. We're cleaning the salmon-bearing streams, where the low count of the salmon, the pinks coming back up Indian Arm, were so low that we've cleaned the vegetation and rerouted it so that it's a lot more safe and accessible to them, where the population now was over 600,000.
Wow.
Yeah. We've cleaned clan garden beds and replanted eelgrass and bull kelp, and the herring were coming back. They were finding, enough shade and things to lay their eggs on, and which brought back, a flora of a whole bunch of, the seals were coming in. The ducks haven't come back, or the frogs haven't come back yet, but, it's thriving in a place where it's just inundated with industry. And I thought, it doesn't matter if we go pick the clams and harvest the clams. We're going to be a big threat to them. It doesn't matter if we put the canoe in the water. We're going to be a big threat to them. Or pick up our drum and our rattles and go sing a song. And I said, here we are, just living our Indigenous way of life. We should just all go out and weave in a big public space.
Yeah.
And see how threatening, we're such a big threat to just be us and who we are, and connected to the land and connected to our traditions. So that it was kind of a joke, but I'm really feeling like...
I'm feeling that.
I'm feeling like it's something that I want to do.
You can see it, right?
Yeah.
And how many people have a nice portable loom and a project they're already working on, or would love to support something like that? It's something I could get on board with personally, and it really makes me think of the root word of woman. So we always hear slally and slanny, and I was curious. I'm always kind of picking apart the words in an effort to better understand the worldview. Hualmach worldview is embedded within the little words within the words. And Sal goes as an active and progressive word, goes back into the root word seal, and sealt means to weave. And so when you put an S on a word, you're nominalizing it. You're making it a noun. So if you turn sealt into a progressive and give it a human form, we arrive at slally. And so I thought the very first person I kind of brought that forward to in conversation, because I thought it would make a great conversation starter, was a man around my age, and he said, wow, yeah, totally. Women are always weaving their families together, and just kind of left it at that. And I hadn't thought about that metaphor. I had only really thought about the literal, right? Like the women have always woven the shoes and the skirts and the shawls and the baskets, and so the work would be continuous. Like your whole life, you could be weaving whatever was needed. It's not at Walmart.
Yeah.
It's made by hand and harvested from the land. But also the importance of that metaphor. And so a demonstration of who we are could very well be any form of weaving anywhere where it could make that statement and make an impact. Weavers of the social fabric. Thaleluchaut uses that expression. Weavers of the social fabric. So much of the root of Thaleluchaut has been, or at the beginning, the homemakers, the Stalo Homemakers Association, gathering together and doing their existing knitting and crocheting and weaving projects and functional. I don't imagine there was a lot of recreational crocheting and knitting. Like today, we see it's making a comeback, and in a way, it's like, oh, we need to hunker out of this extremely busy society we live in and just knit. I feel like that's a relatively new considered recreational. That's a new perspective.
Yeah.
But to know that we've always done it. And it's at the root of our name and who we are. I would love to follow up with you on that and see where we can go.
Oh, for sure.
Strategy, right? Like I'd imagine you're very experienced in timing and approach, having spent 11 years with Trans Mountain at the feet of your nation.
Yeah. I do say they are in our kitchen sink.
Oh my gosh.
Not our backyard.
They're not just at your feet. They're right in your kitchen.
They're in our kitchen sink, yeah. And we can literally, from our canoe shed, see into their yard. And then vice versa, yeah.
Neighbors.
Yeah.
That's saying it nicely. And so with so much encroachment, infringement.
I just want to go back to that weaving part.
Oh, for sure.
Just because I kind of started to see not just the weaving of what we do with our hands, but as women together weaving all of those practices that we do, and also just shared responsibilities with the upbringing of our children, grandchildren, nieces, nephews, married in, and they come with children, and how we claim our young ones and bring them up together, and how that's woven in, and what kind of designs come from that, and how it just makes everything that much more expanded. I don't know. I just had that thought of, there's a lot much more weaving that we do, not with just our hands.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very complex pattern these days. Coming home, to the valley and seeing that whole mountain range as you kind of turn into Abbotsford and head straight into Chilliwack. I know it moves me every time. There's no days I grow tired of it. I open my kitchen window and I'm like, there we are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so how active recreational use has become, we don't see it, we don't hear it from down here, but when you go up there, the concept of woven patterns or lines carved, we see this presence of dirt bike tracks, ATV tracks, evidence of trail, foot traffic trails everywhere, fire pits everywhere up there, ruts in the alpine, ruts through the blueberry meadows. It's a very real threat. I'm just wondering if you know of any like effective ecotourism opportunities. Like, is that something that can be used to kind of push back on like resource extraction industry?
Yeah, I find if you need good partners. And I've found in order to be effective, you have to kind of get in the game a little bit. And so you're not giving up any of what you have and what you feel like, what you own. And that's just those feelings and those connections, right? It's not about land. It's what you feel in your veins of the territory. You're not giving that up, but you do need partners that help uphold a lot of those rights that you know and have and feel about those trails. And it's taken a long time and a few years for Tsleil-Waututh to find the right partners, because it is about at the end of the day dollar signs and what kind of value that they can get out of it, and that's not what we're about. All across the board.
Like the values need to be brought forward. The values need to also meet, I suppose, like all on a table.
Yeah. They have to be upstanding in the same sense as how you're holding up your actual laws about how you be on your territory, and we carry that in a humble way, and it's not something that is, I feel we've compromised a lot and we've compromised enough. And so coming to the table with that mindset of, what are you doing for reconciliation? What are you doing for, rehabilitating your organization, to adhere to any of the Indigenous rights, and it's taken a while and it's taken some time, but you need to find good partners to uphold their end and to make a go at it of
relationship.
Covering that territory, but also something that you can feel like you've got teeth to it. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of opportunities coming, as social media has made trips out on the land super popular, and so it's created this immediacy around management of people and traffic and waste and all the things that come with increased numbers, feet on the ground, or, boats in the water, however they're moving. Yeah.
I feel too like we've done this up in Tsleil-Waututh, knowing that it's the heart of your territory. And, the mountain is the heart of the territory. And having the knowledge that you have and getting the right partner and starting out with a company is another step to reclaiming and, reclaiming it as the heart of your territory.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, I'm getting a feeling that we're growing closer to the end of our session together.
Oh,
yeah, time's flying. We're familiar a bit with your work in performance, and a bit more about the industry than some of our young people might. And I'm just curious if there's any words of wisdom or advice that you could share about moving in that direction of performance or film or television that you might want to leave with young people.
Yeah, just don't be afraid to try. I probably didn't get it right the first time or second time or maybe even the third time, but just keep trying and being true to yourself, not pretending that it's out of your scope or it's, something that you can't reach, because it's all in the timing. It's all in, what you have to give and staying true to it.
Cool.
Yeah, I believe that, there's a chance out there for everyone, no matter what it is, singing or acting or, whatever it is, playing drums even, whatever it is out there, there's so much creativity. And there always has been, there's been a lot of real artistic and creative musicians in Indian country that, just keep inspired too. Keep finding those ones that inspire you. And like you say, keep them in your basket and, look them up and
Awesome. Yeah. I love that. And it's applicable to wherever our passions might be, right? Finding that inspiration and sticking with it, or remembering to take ourselves with us. This authentic, who is the authentic version of me, and how do I take her with me wherever, and to stand tall and know who we are when we're standing there. And I feel like you embody that. And again, just really grateful that you would make time for us. We know you're very busy, and it's all good work that you do. And so we appreciate that you would come and sit with us. And we're definitely going to follow up with you about the potential of having a group sit-in and some weaving somewhere, and think about how that could work for the best interest of our Chilliwack and our Chilliwack and our Smistiuch and everybody in between, Really grateful again that you would come, and thanks everybody for tuning in. This is all we have. Yatlu Kwasai Tashwalap.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes.
It was so much fun. And it went way too fast.
I know. What are you doing next?
Yeah.